remember. Do you remember the codes you were given by your family? The codes you were given on how to live a happy life? Let's take a trip down memory lane together. And hopefully you will remember some of these codes after this brief, you could call it in a way a meditation. But I hope there will be some music. Let's see. And I'll take you down memory lane. Let's see if this works. Can I get the next slide, please, because this doesn't work? Thank you. So now, relax a bit. Lean back. Take a deep breath. If you want, you can close your eyes. Or you can fix your eyes on a spot to allow for memories, feelings, pictures, sensations from the past to emerge in your brain right now. So remember where you grew up. Remember the country you grew up in. Did you grow up in a city? Or did you grow up at the countryside, in the mountains, or at the seaside? Remember the environment of where you grew up. Remember your school time and your teachers, how they impacted you. Remember your friends during your upbringing. Remember the happy times and the hard times growing up in your generation. Now remember your family. Imagine that you open the door to your family house or one of your family houses. And you go in and the entire family is collected or gathered in the kitchen area. Remember the dynamic of your family. Do you have siblings? If you have siblings, where do you fall in that order? What was the dynamic of your family? Remember that. What strategies did you use to get love and attention, to feel safe? What did you notice about your parents? How did they treat themselves? And what did that teach you on how to live your life? Maybe as a reaction or a counter-reaction. Now just imagine that this is something you do in your culture, that you share your memories, your triggers, your drivers of the past, that you have a psychological safe environment where you dare to share your memories, and that you know that this will be helpful because then people will help you and you can help them. Please keep this in the back of your mind, and if you've closed your eyes, come back and I'll take you through 4 authentic personal stories of 4 wonderful people that I have the honor to get to know. These stories will share with you, or show you maybe, how the past influence the present. So we can shut off the music, please. Thank you. So, welcome to John. Meet John. John is an amazing man, 42, 2 children, married to Joanna, she's a dentist. And John is seen as ambitious, intelligent, an amazing man in many ways, strategic and helpful, very, very helpful. His personal story is that he comes from a loving family, and he was fortunate enough to get a brother. Unfortunately, this young brother, this baby, came out multi-handicapped. And that changed everything for the family, and therefore also for John. John had to reinvent his role in the family. He had to find new strategies on how to be part of this family in the best way. And he figured out, consciously or unconsciously, that the best way for him would be to help out. He had extra resources. He could really help out. So that's what he did. He helped his family, he helped his parents. He didn't take any attention in any negative way. He made sure everything was running smoothly. Never came back with anything that was problematic from school. And when this young brother became older and left the house, he took care of him so that his parents could relax. And John, he kept this strategy of being helpful. In his workplace, he's very well liked because he's so really, really helpful and skilled. Everything seems to go fine. But one day, John finds himself in an ambulance going to the hospital because he had what he and everyone else thought was a heart attack. Luckily, it wasn't. But it was his body communicating, it's time to come back to you, John. Balance the helpfulness. Notice your own signaling. Now meet Malene. Malene is a wonderful young woman of 30, 2 young children. She's married. She's seen as caring, quality-focused, detailed. Her personal story is that her mother was an alcoholic, and the father had it. When she was 7, he left the family to another family. That changed Malene's role. She became the grown-up. She made sure that the house was perfect. She moved out all the bottles, she washed the clothes. She made sure that the mother came up in the morning, got a shower, and went to work. She handled everything in school, very serious young girl. She is aware that she has difficulty handle emotional reactions, critique. Some even called her a perfectionist. She liked that kind of. But one day in a project situation where the waves went a little high, someone criticized her deeply. Then she broke down and cried. Seemed that she couldn't stop. She also had to balance and get back home to herself, figure out what was her needs instead of trying to control everything, because you simply can't. Now meet Maya. Maya's 54. She's a leader in a big company. She's single, no children. She's seen as fun, energetic, empathic, amazing in every way, and also a brilliant communicator. Her personal story, she comes from a loving family. Her father had a factory. Everyone loved her father, also Maya. And one day when he was conducting a speech, he died. Maya's continued her life. She works 24/7, doesn't really pay attention to the internal signaling. And one day when she's celebrating with her team, and she's making this speech. Words cannot come through. She gets frightened, and this becomes a trend. This was 1 year, she was 1 year younger than when her father died, his age. So there's some fearfulness here, and a story of someone very important could pass during a speech, so also some anxiety. So Maya dealt with this. Today she's a brilliant communicator again, without the fearfulness. But it took some time. Now meet the young talent Benjamin. Benjamin is 25, single, no children, and impressively enough, you could say, he has been a manager for a couple of years in a production company. His personal story is he comes from this loving family. His sister, who was kind of the hope for the family, should have gone to university, but decided to pursue a dancing career. Then it's on for Benjamin. He didn't have big dreams. He was fine in just following the footsteps of his father. So he became a manager. Everything seemed to go smooth, but he wasn't happy. He was drained, started having problems sleeping, being really tired, sad. But Benjamin also had dreams. He was just not in contact with these. And as a young generation, I don't know if you can say that, but he dreamt or dreamed about flexibility. He dreams about not that much responsibility, and he dreams about adventure. So this is an ongoing process. We all have stories. So we all have stories. We've all been children. We have also, many of us, have our own children. So you've seen small children, either your own, maybe you have grandchildren, maybe your brother or sister have children. And the thing is about children, that most children are superheroes in their own minds. As it says here, they are an amazing castle of light. They can do everything. So they can climb the highest trees. They can jump out and to the ocean, despite the fact that they haven't learned how to swim. They can sing in a cathedral, going back to Lorenzo's speech. So even though the environment is not opening up for singing, children can sing if they want to. They can show affection, they can show anger. And parents, us, you, me, we are frightened that something should happen to our children. So we're fearful, so we teach them how to adapt. We also want them somehow to fit in to the social structures, so we teach them that. And children, they need to fit in. They need to be part of a group to feel safe, so they adapt. So they close off the light in some of their windows. Maybe they close out the light in the room of bravery. They adapt, and we have adapted. So we have also turned off lights in some of our windows. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes it can feel like a 3-bedded apartment with only a few lights in that castle that once was so shining. So have you ever wondered why you work so hard? Why you criticize yourself? Why you're so funny all the time and hide behind jokes and sarcasm? Why you worry, maybe about money? Why you have to prove your worth over and over again? Why you smile even when you're not happy? Why you never say no? And have you considered the cost on your happiness and your energy for doing this? Please consider who taught you this, because this is part of the coding that you have received. Some role models in your past showed you that this is how you're supposed to do. So the way we're raised, how our parents live their lives, the culture, the surroundings, formed the inherent parent. That parent that would tell us the same thing as our parents told us. And that parent continue to communicate, and therefore we continue to adapt and close down and adapt and fit in. But you know, that parent is kind of an inner computer system, and it has been coded. It has been coded to fit the reality of your parents, what they believed was right and wrong. Some of it's still true, but maybe some of it isn't for you. So we need to reprogram that system. And if you want to know your system, if you're thinking right now, but I don't have that kind of system, reflect on how you act when you're triggered, if you're irritated during traffic or wherever. You might recognize someone from your past. Because the thing is, we tend to see through the glasses of the past when we're triggered. The subconscious mind is an interesting, we could do days on zooming into that. But to be brief, the subconscious mind focuses on structures, on emotions, much more than logic. And here we have a family tree, a structure. And here we have a hierarchical organization, another structure. And there is this recognition in the subconscious mind about this structure. And it can transport the experiences, expectations, hopes, and fears that we have had in our family to the organization. That also means that leaders resemble parents or grandparents and can become a projection screen for everything that we are hoping for in our organizational family. The space is enormous for interpretation. And bear in mind that your behavior can trigger something someone else here has brought along from our family. So we talk about emotions, and the biggest word on the screen a little earlier was fear. Fear of conflict, maybe. So how do we know how we are feeling? The body communicates. And if you pay attention to your body, you will know how you feel, but you have to translate. So if I take fear as an example, fear or the energy. Emotions are energy in motion. So it's not dangerous at all, it's just an energy. It's an energy that wants you to see that energy, listen to that energy, use that energy, because it tells something about your authentic self. The energy of anxiety can also be, and I'm doing like this because it starts in the legs, so anxiety, but also engagement and several other elements starts as an energy in the legs. So I can't really see that right now. But if I look around in the offices, often in meetings, people sit like this. Imagine I'm sitting. Or fiddling with a pen, or sitting like this on the chair. Because there's this energy in motion that wants to be recognized. So it starts in the legs. If you don't pay attention to that energy, it goes up. So it starts as an innocent feeling in the legs of a little at easeness, then it goes up into your stomach area. And you can have this feeling of butterflies in the stomach. If you don't pay attention, it goes up in the chest, and you can have a feeling of an elephant sitting on your chest. And it goes up, if you don't pay attention, like Maya. You can get this feeling of, I can't communicate. Or I need some water, I'm drying out in my mouth. If you don't pay attention, it goes further up. And you can have a ringing in your ears or a headache. And if it goes really bad, you can get dizzy or feeling like you need to throw up. This was the nasty one. This is anxiety. But I'm sure you also know how it feels to be happy, how it feels when you're sad, how it makes you feel when you're angry. You know, the muscles are tight, the jaw is tight. I'm sure you know about that. But we tend not to talk about these emotions. We tend not to pay attention. And that's the worst part of it. So, we'll show you a video. It's a video on eye contact. Some of you have maybe seen it before. If you have, you know, really just enjoy it again. I've seen it 1,000 times. It's a 5 minutes of magic. You'll see this video, 5 minutes, and the task for you is to feel how it makes you feel, because some of you would probably mirror the feelings that you see up here on the screen. But let's see. Now we'll see the video. It's 5 minutes. Enjoy.
Nice mustache. Two, three, four, five, six, five. Sechs, fünf.
Are you new in Berlin?
Yeah, 8 months.
And are you alone here or with your family?
No, I don't. This life, sometime nice, sometime not good.
I'm keeping my eyes on you. Oh.
Oh.
Hello. I expect him to ask my number.
Be a strong man.
Thank you so much.
We will go to the zoo, maybe next few days. Text you if you would like to.
I would love it. Of course. You can do it.
When I was looking into her eyes, I was trying to see what I could tell from the life that she lived, and I think I could tell that there was a lot of experience lived there.
It doesn't matter, look at the eyes or something, just give yourself a chance to talk and to look at the other person.
Just give yourself a chance to talk and look at the other person. That's one step towards psychological safety. And because we talk so much about emotion, there is a point. I'm coming back to that. We would like you to have a chance to feel emotions right now. So we will, and I'm saying we because my good colleague Maria Bolon-Myrup, she's also here today. And she's helping out in this very brief exercise of 1 minute. But we're inviting you to have eye contact with someone in the room for 1 minute. And I know that some of you have tried this before, and in my heart, you can never do this enough. So I'm just thrilled if you've done this before, then it's going to be maybe easier for you. But I'm inviting you to, in a split second, to stand up and find someone. And we have an extra participant here if we're needing one. Find a partner and have eye contact for 1 minute. And the exercise is, yes, to have eye contact, but basically it is to feel what goes on inside you. What do you notice emotionally when you have this 1 minute of eye contact? It can feel like you trespass a boundary, but basically it's only to just look at someone else for 1 minute and pay attention to how it makes you feel. So that's the task. So I'll let you know when the 1 minute starts and when it stops. And there is one rule. So you saw that guy with the mustache, they were talking all the time. In an exercise like this, that is a defense mechanism. So please don't talk. So we need the room to be completely silent for this 1 minute. And it's not a competition. It's not about finding that spot in between the eyes and staring at that, because then you would not open up for your emotions. So allow yourself to see the other person and be seen. It's just 1 minute. So please stand up. Raise your hand if you miss a partner. Then Maria's coming to you. Yeah. Okay. Anyone miss a partner? There are two. One over here? Yes? Perfect. Thank you so much. So we're good to go? We're still missing one? Maria? Maria, where are you? We have a lady here. Perfect. Thank you so much for raising your hand. So 1 minute of eye contact, paying attention to what goes on inside you, and the 1 minute starts now. Thank you so much. So thank you so much. I just have a few more things to share with you. And I know that I'm under time pressure, so I'll be brief. But I just want to tell you that if we experience difficult emotions, what we tend to do, because somehow that was taught to us, is to do the same thing as when we make a stamped coffee. We repress, suppress, or ignore these emotions. And that's basically what is the problem from where I come from my training. When you ignore the emotion, there is a block. When there is a blocker, you can actually, some might feel it in the body even. So you can feel physical pain from not letting that energy run through your body. And a lot of people whom I meet, they're not in contact with their emotions. They're in contact with their thoughts. And we need to be very disciplined in listening to this emotion or these emotions. And it's not easy, because the external world is like a tsunami of demands everywhere, everybody communicating. And that inner communication is like that one drop in water. And Joe Dispenza for one, but this is not something that is not recognized amongst a lot of scientists. He says that thought alone can trigger the human stress response and keep it going. And in a way, and he says, that's what we call stress. Do I have 2 minutes more? No? Okay. Okay, so, but I have 3 slides. So I'm gonna just take the space here, and I'll do it fast. So imagine that I come to you with a lemon, and I cut it. It's the juiciest lemon, so it makes the juice run up my sleeves. I cut a piece, and I ask you to bite it. The explosion of the juice in your mouth is crazy. It's so sour. And maybe some of you right now can even feel the mouthwater coming. So that's an innocent example of how thought can trigger a response. And Daniel Goleman, now zooming in on organizations, I'm speed talking a little bit here, but he says that this anxiety, Daniel Goleman is an author and a psychologist. He's written an interesting book called Emotional Intelligence. And he says that these 5, and you can read them up here, will trigger stress in an organization. These 5. And he says that these 5 emotional intelligent drivers will build healthy organization. So what we're looking at here is self-awareness. But we cannot be self-aware if we're not in contact with ourselves. So self-awareness, regulation, that you can regulate the inner pressure, that you go with motivation, that you bring that motivation, empathy, and social intelligence. And okay, I'll skip the next slide then. And this is my final, so you're lucky. It was fast. But in order to do all of this, we need role models. We need someone to help us make sure that this is okay, that we are psychologically safe enough to dare to share what we think, how we feel, the hopes and fears that we have transported maybe from our families to the organizations that we are part of. We need role models with bravery who dare to share what makes them tick when they've been stressed, what they did to come over that, and, help each other. And I'm really so happy to tell you that Anders Toft Markussen, who's a brilliant, actually young leader, senior director in Ørsted, is the next speaker. And he holds this key, and he uses this key, and he will tell you how he does that. Thank you.
So, Sofie, thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to get back in touch with our human body and our human beingness.
Yes.
And through your talk and also that exercise, I think you've given many of us an opportunity to start paying attention to something it's very, very easy not to pay any attention to until it's too late, as you said in your case studies.
Exactly.
So we're going to take a break now, and we're going to take a 35-minute break. So please be ready to come back at 4:40. And when we come back, as Sofie said, we're going to hear Anders talking about how he has used these kind of ideas in a high-performance team in business, in the day-to-day, and share his experience of doing that. So thank you. Enjoy your break. We'll see you back in 35 minutes.